Marco, play it some more, Marco.
And so he did, ladies and gentlemen, and so he did. We are back. Welcome back to another episode of whatever we call this, Always Marco YouTube channel live stream. We are back. I'm doing a little bit of an earlier stream today because I mentioned on the last stream, show a little more cleavage, why not? I mentioned on the last stream, if you're a real committed goon and you watch all the streams, I mentioned that I'm doing some moving, so I'm doing an early stream because I've got some movers coming to move stuff later, and yeah, I had to work around the schedule, so why not? I figured we'll do it early. It's fine. First of all, let me say wagwan and thank you to everybody who's in here. Thumbs up the ting if you're here. Helps people get notified that we're live and spread the video to through the algorithm and whatever. I know people are probably like still at work or whatever, but it's fine. Most people watch on the replay anyways. So thank you to all the mods and members in the chat. Triggered Petite, Walt Turner, and that's literally it as of right now. You know, we're doing an early one. It's people are coming home from work. People are in rush hour traffic. People are having dinner. It is what it is. So, but I wanted to talk about this today because, surprise, surprise, your government is corrupt. I know, completely unbelievable. Can't believe you've done this, but it's true. Let's make sure, first of all, that we're sounding good. Are we? Oh, sounds so great. Sounds so great. Let's start here, shall we? Okay. Here we are. So this is from the website Direct Selling News, my favorite source of propaganda on behalf of Big Pyramid. You got to love it. This is called Direct Selling Day on Capitol Hill. Now, this happens every year, and every year I post about how absurd and corrupt it is. This article says, DSA successfully lobbies Congress and White House to clarify independent contractor status for direct sellers. Now, let's do a little double-speak propaganda checklist just from the title of this article here. DSA is the first word, Direct Selling Association. Really what this is the Direct Scamming Association. This is Big Pyramid. This is the trade association that lobbies on behalf of and represents pyramid schemes, okay? Multi-level marketing. The companies that call themselves multi-level marketing but are feature-wise indistinguishable from illegal pyramid schemes. Successfully lobbies Congress. Well, another example of doublespeak, the word lobbies or lobbying. What does it really mean? In this context, it means giving money to, giving gifts to, doing favors for, rubbing elbows with, and kissing asses of politicians. You love to see it. To clarify independent contractor status for direct sellers, the next two bits of doublespeak are the words independent contractor and direct sellers. These people are not independent in what the people who work for MLM companies as distributors or contractors, they're not independent in any sense of the word. They are completely dependent on the MLM they are a part of for everything. Their the back office software they rely on to track their metrics and their rank and the people below them and whatever, what they sell, how much it costs, how they're allowed to advertise, if they're allowed to advertise on social media at all. They have no characteristics about them that would align with the word independent in any sense of the word. Let's see what else here. And then direct sellers. Of course, I've made several videos about this and talked about this countless times. These people are not direct selling. These people are not the Yankee peddlers going from rural town to rural town trying to sell Bibles and encyclopedias and CD collections and whatever. In the modern age of e-commerce and, brick and mortar stores that are plentiful and abundant wherever you are, if you're in a civilized locale, you probably have Walmart and Target and Costco and whatever else, not to mention Amazon, which you can order anything on and get it within 24 hours in most cases. The idea that there are millions of people in this robust, legitimate industry who are out here acting as direct sellers, selling things person to person, competing with not only the biggest brands in the world for products that are comparable to what MLMs sell, protein powder, essential oils, shampoo. Not only are they competing with the biggest brands in those categories, they're also competing with the biggest retailers that sell those brands. Again, Walmart, Target, Costco, Amazon. It's a completely ludicrous and fantastical idea that this could even be considered an industry in modern times. You know, it is an insult to the intelligence of any person that reads these words: independent contractor, direct seller, direct selling association, because it's just complete propaganda language, doublespeak nonsense. So this is literally today, hot off the press, September 17th, 2025. It says, September 17th, 2025, the DSA announced that the White House Committee on Education and the Workforce, chaired by Rep. Tim Walberg. Walberg? What kind of name is that? Could be a Swedish name. I know Berg can also be Swedish. I'm pretty sure it means mountain in Swedish. But, okay, let's move on. Successfully, from MI5. Tim Walberg, MI5, okay. Successfully moved the Direct Seller and Real Estate Agent Harmonization Act out of committee, making the most significant legislative victory for the direct selling channel in decades. I love this too. The direct selling channel. You're scammers. Okay, here's a picture outside of the Capitol. And right here, front and center, we see groveling Dave Grimaldi. You know, when it comes to rubbing elbows and kissing ass, nobody does it better than Dave Grimaldi. We love Dave, our hero. And then a bunch of other people who are presumably executives and independent contractors of multi-level marketing companies, not to mention the politicians that they are schmoozing and rubbing elbows with. The milestone vote. I also think it's funny. I should mention, I also think it's funny that the act is called the Direct Seller and Real Estate Agent Harmonization Act, clearly trying to muddy the waters even more between what real estate agents do and what MLM scammers do. I've heard this false equivalence used countless times that, it's just like real estate. It is not just like real estate. And I've gone over why it's not like real estate countless times. And I'm sure there will be some comments in the comment section explaining the key differences between MLM distributors and real estate agents that make them completely apples and oranges. The milestone vote coincided with DSA's annual Direct Selling Day on Capitol Hill. How convenient. Where 85 direct sellers and executives from across the country are meeting with more than 100 elected officials to highlight the channel's impact and advocate for independent entrepreneurs. This is probably the usual spiel. We empower women. We have so many women that work for us. We bring in this much money. We're helping independent people make some extra money on the side, and we're the backbone of the American workforce, and blah, 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 blah. All nonsense, of course. HR 3495 would explicitly define direct sellers and real estate agents as independent contractors under the Fair Labor Standards Act, harmonizing federal law with the IRC, harmonizing federal law with the Internal Revenue Code, which has recognized this classification since 1982. The bill provides clarity and protection for millions of Americans who build businesses in these industries, reducing legal uncertainty and strengthening entrepreneurial opportunity. Reducing legal uncertainty for the companies, not for the distributors. Of course, by conflating what MLM distributors do with what real estate agents do, they're just protecting themselves. But of course, it is a lie. This is proof that advocacy works, says Groveling Grimaldi, CEO of the DSA, Direct Scamming Association. We brought entrepreneurs from across the U.S. to Capitol Hill to share their stories and explain the real-world value of this channel, aka to lie, and to propagandize. Today's committee vote is a historic win for independent workers and shows the power of collective voices. DSA and its members have pushed for this clarity for decades, and this milestone brings us closer than ever to protecting the freedom to work independently and build businesses on your own terms. Language is such a magical thing, isn't it? You can make language do whatever you want it to do and push any agenda you want. Direct Selling Day is led by DSA to connect entrepreneurs directly with policymakers and reinforce the economic significance of direct selling, which includes $34.7 billion in annual retail sales, $111 billion in total U.S. economic impact, and $15.5 billion in tax revenue. What this really translates to is $111 billion being scammed out of the economy and concentrated into the hands of the people at the tops of these MLM corporations, scams, since 99% of people in all MLMs actually lose money. Delegates are presenting lawmakers with research and policy briefings developed by the Direct Scamming Association, reinforcing its role as a trusted partner to Congress and state officials. Reinforcing its role as a trusted partner to Congress and state officials. Well, as they say, what's the opposite of progress? Congress. The advancement of H.R. 3495 will amend the FLSA of 1938 to clarify the definition of employee as it relates to direct sellers and real estate agents. See, this is all they have to rely on, redefining words to suit their own agenda. This momentum reflects DSA's long-term leadership, coalition building, and commitment to protecting micro-entrepreneurs and consumers alike. I guess you have to refer to them as micro-entrepreneurs when their actual amount of money they're making is so significant, if not negative. Just put the word micro in front of it and it's fine. Well, we never claimed. Okay. So you already love to see where this is going. Let's look also at Twitter. Here's the Direct Selling Association on X. Sincere thanks to POTUS, Trump, senior administration officials, and Rep. Wahlberg for meeting with DSA to discuss H.R. 3495. We're grateful for your time and partnership in supporting policies that empower millions of direct sellers, aka that scam millions of people. And here's Groveling Grimaldi. There he is, right there. You love to see it. I love Dave Grimaldi, too, just as a character, like a guy who was previously in the crypto industry, now the head of the trade association that represents Big Pyramid. From representing one Ponzi scheme and from advocating one Ponzi scheme to another. What a gem. What an absolute contribution to our society. Let's check out Rep. Wahlberg, representing Michigan. Okay. Here he is talking about the big, beautiful bill and why it's big and beautiful. Let's see if he posted anything about this. Oh, yeah, here. H.R. 3495, the Direct Seller and Real Estate Agent Harmonization Act. House Committee on Education. Okay. The committee is working hard to support American workers and retirees, protect independent contractors, and promote freedom in our workforce. So funny, because when it comes to multi-level marketing, these people are not free. They are literally in contractual bondage. Many times they sign non-disparagement clauses as part of their independent contractor contract that they're not even aware of. It's some fine print buried on page 10 or whatever. And these people are doomed into a mathematically impossible endless chain recruiting scheme where, by virtue of the design, they have an almost guaranteed chance of losing money. And the only way to beat these impossible odds is to be willing to lie and deceive about how amazing the opportunity is, better than the guy who got in before you and the guy that got in before him. This is not doing what they claim, which is protecting independent contractors. This is mischaracterizing scam victims as independent contractors and doing the opposite of protecting them, ensuring they continue to lose money and doom others into losing money when they recruit them. That's what this is. Let's see if he posted anything else. 9 hours ago, happy Constitution Day. Funny, Constitution Day is the same as Direct Selling Day on the Hill. Love that. Okay. That's that. Let me go on to the Direct Selling Advocacy Advisory. Also a favorite propaganda mouthpiece of mine. This is from September 8th, going back in time a little bit. DSA has sent a letter to Tim Wahlberg, chairman of the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, urging support for HR 3495, the Direct Seller and Real Estate Agent Harmonization Act. Now, I can only imagine who wrote HR 3495, and it's funny that they're introducing this after only a couple of months ago there was the whole fiasco about HB 162, the Delaware bill that would have imposed more restrictions and regulations on MLM companies and their distributors, which, of course, Groveling Grimaldi was in a huge panic over, as well as the entire direct selling channel. And now they have this bill, which seems to be a little backdoor loophole out of whatever restrictions would have been placed on them by HB 162 in Delaware, because now all they have to do is just reclassify what they are. And now, as we see, they're aligning themselves with what? Real estate agents. You love to see it. This bill would harmonize the Fair Labor Standards Act with the Internal Revenue Code, so the direct sellers, together with real estate agents, are explicitly defined as independent contractors under both statutes. With direct selling day on Capitol Hill approaching, this letter underscores why this legislation is vital for the direct selling community. And as we just saw, hold on, let me go back to that X page for Tim Wahlberg. It says here that today the committee will be marking up 6 important pieces of legislation that will provide certainty to Indian tribes, protect savers and retirees. Also that part too, the retirees bit. Old people getting scammed is just all too common, and MLM is not an exception to that. Encourage workplace safety and clarify the status of direct sellers and real estate agents. So he's marking up, whatever that means, signing, approving of, co-signing these submissions, these bills. Okay. Protecting entrepreneurial flexibility. Independent contractor status is central to the direct selling model. You love to see that. Without it, sellers could lose the ability to build businesses on their own terms, which they don't do anyways, a key reason millions choose direct selling. Okay. Preventing regulatory confusion. While the IRS and most states recognize direct sellers as independent contractors, the FLSA's indirect language creates risk for misinterpretation and legal challenges. Oh, I bet. Direct selling contributes $36.7 billion in retail sales. Okay. A federal definition helps protect this significant economic footprint. Keeping direct selling competitive. Federal consistency reduces compliance complexity. Try saying that 5 times fast. Allowing companies to invest in innovation, ethical growth, and seller support. Just a bunch of buzzwords. Literally, that whole sentence meant nothing. Building a bipartisan foundation. Yeah, we want to be good little scammers in the eyes of Democrats and Republicans. This bill is about clarity and stability, not politics, and benefiting 2 major industries, direct selling and real estate, that rely on entrepreneurial freedom to thrive. This letter is part of a coordinated advocacy effort, we know, culminating in Direct Selling Day on September 17th, when more than 85 direct sellers will meet with over 100 lawmakers to share their stories and champion independent work. Why is there not a trade association or an association in opposition to this? Why don't we have an anti-MLM day on the Hill so that we can go present them with the real stats and explain what this shit is really about? And here's the letter, okay? September 8th. This is to Representative Tim Wahlberg, to Bobby Scott. Okay, and who wrote it? Who's it from? Dave Grimaldi. Okay, so this is the letter from September 8th to Tim Wahlberg from Dave Grimaldi. Here's what it says. Dear Chair Wahlberg and Ranking Member Scott, the DSA strongly supports the enactment of HR 3495, the Direct Seller and Real Estate Harmonization Act. So haram for real. For more than a century, DSA has served as the national trade association for companies that offer entrepreneurial opportunities to individuals who market products and services outside a fixed retail establishment. Well, that's one way for saying a bunch of people loading up on a bunch of overpriced, useless, non-competitive shit, hoarding it in their guest room and their garage and their basement, so that they can increase their PV and recruit other people to also buy stuff so they can increase their TV and their GV and their OV so that they can become a regional senior ultra mega executive super duper businessman, diamond, emerald, whatever in their MLM company and get money back as a rebate, which is nowhere close to outweighing the amount that they've spent. For over 40 years, direct sellers have been classified as independent contractors under the Internal Revenue Code for federal tax purposes since 1982. H.R. 3495 seeks to harmonize the Fair Labor Standards Act with the IRC so that direct sellers can be clearly defined as independent contractors under both statutes. Congress should exercise its right to define direct sellers as independent contractors more explicitly for these individuals to continue having the flexibility to operate their businesses and reduce any confusion stemming from conflicting statutes and regulations. Well, what's the actual reason for this? The actual reason for this is because if people in MLMs are classified as independent contractors and not employees, and this bill seems to make the argument that they would be undoubtedly not employees, well, that also, the bigger reason for that is that it protects the MLM companies themselves from liability that they might face from the conduct of their distributors, i.e. people going on Instagram and completely contradicting the income disclosure of that company, which shows that most people lose money, and saying things like, you can earn $10,000 a month, or whatever the common riffraff is from people in MLMs. This bill and the reclassification of them as independent contractors through and through seems to me to protect MLMs because it allows them to throw these people under the bus if worse comes to worse and nonprofit like Truth in Advertising comes out with yet another report showing how deceptive claims are endemic throughout all of the Direct Selling Association member companies and how most of these companies, their distributors, lose money. Congress should exercise its right to define direct sellers as independent contractors more explicitly. And who does it benefit? For these individuals to continue having the flexibility to operate their businesses and reduce any confusion stemming from conflicting statutes and regulations. Oh, guys, we're just doing this for you, the people in our companies who lose money. All 6.1 million direct sellers in the United States are classified as independent contractors and sell to 6.9 million preferred customers. Let's do a little quick math here. You have 6.1 million direct sellers, but only 6.9 million preferred customers, discount buyers, and many millions of other consumers. By my math, that means that there's approximately one customer per every direct seller. So how is this a robust and lucrative money-making opportunity if the market, in your own words, based on what I'm understanding from reading this, is slightly more than one customer per person? Make it make sense. Direct sellers account for $36.7 billion in retail sales with a total of $111.4 billion in economic impact on the United States economy. Oh, it's having an economic impact for sure, just not in the direction that one would hope. Direct sellers rely on independent contractor status to boost the economy. Insert the Joe Biden. Helps the economy. Hurts nobody. While the ability to work as an independent contractor is recognized and protected under the IRC and the vast majority of state laws, past proposed federal rules and state legislation expanding the definition of employee continue to threaten workers' ability to be classified as independent contractors, including for many real estate professionals and direct sellers. So this is so funny to me. This has to be the most easily see-through bullshit line in the entire letter so far. Because why would being classified as an employee threaten you in any way? Oh no, I'm not going to have a wage or a salary like in multi-level marketing. Oh no, I'm not going to have benefits like in multi-level marketing. Oh no, there's no responsibility that the company has over me if I do anything wrong like in multi-level marketing. It's, again, in MLM, the opposite of what they claim is true every time. Every single time. Whatever they say, the opposite is true. You know, it's in the interest of MLM companies to do everything in their power to make sure these people aren't classified as employees. Because if they're your employee, guess what? You pay tax on them. You have to pay them a wage. You presumably have to give them benefits in many cases. We wouldn't want that, would we? That undercuts our own bottom line. That takes money out of our pocket. When they're making their monthly reorder purchase, their monthly auto ship to get their minimum PV and be classified as an active distributor, that's just money going one way. That's money flowing up to us. And that's it. Currently, direct sellers may rely on the outside sales exemption and other indirect language in the FLSA to be classified as independent contractors. However, the language is not perfect and could be misinterpreted by courts, and states as not applicable to those arrangements. So once again, they're sort of showing their hand here. The mask is slipping in this paragraph where it's clear what their actual concern is. The language is not perfect. It could be misinterpreted by courts and states. Courts, like if they have legal liability, if there's a pyramid scheme accusation levied by the Federal Trade Commission or some other regulatory agency, if there is a case brought on for deceptive earnings claims or product claims made by their distributors, having them, if the regulatory agencies like the FTC can argue that these people should be classified as representatives or employees of that company in an official way, then that takes away the MLM's ability to throw them under the bus and absolve themselves of any wrongdoing or guilty by association-ness. Or guilt by association. So courts and states like who? Perhaps Delaware, HB 162? Leading to an improper classification of these individuals and threatening their business operations, which really means our scam operations. A clear statutory standard is crucial to protecting the livelihoods of direct sellers who support consumers across America, aka who scam consumers across America, who scam their friends and family and have their relationships destroyed because of these mind control cult establishments called multi-level marketing companies. DSA looks forward to your support of this critically important bill that will protect direct sellers, aka that will scam people. If you have any questions or would like to discuss the matter in more detail, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank you in advance for your support. Groveling Dave Grimaldi. Dave Vaughn says there's no money in non-scamming, fortunately and unfortunately. That's why there's no anti-DSA group. So true. Alex says RIP to any short positions Bill Ackman might have on right now. LOL, it's looking like it's going to be a good few years for MLMs. Right. Being classified as an employee would benefit employees. Labor laws exist. Yes, true. Just follow the money. A wise man once said, if you're confused about why something is happening, follow the money. Here is, in this letter, groveling Grimaldi begging and pleading and ass-kissing about why MLM distributors should not be classified as employees and trying to make that unequivocal and, the letter of the law. Well, if you're a company and you have employees have rights. There are labor laws. So, being classified as an employee benefits employees. So when they're fighting against it and saying we do this to protect and help direct sellers, it's very obvious to see that actually they're doing the opposite. They're trying to protect their own ass. Why? Somebody in my chat asks, why would the government want to accept this law then?
Money.
Money.
We gave him the money. Boom.
Let me read your comments here. Oh, Walt Turner, sorry about that. I'm interrupting Walt Turner's church time. Well, watch it on the replay. What up, Devin? Karo Chan, well, thank you for making it to the stream. Welcome to your first stream. Let me read your comments here. What up, Joseph? Benjamin in my chat says, who else says that? What business people say channel? I love this word, channel. It's just, you have to put lipstick on a pig, as they say. Amelia of Food, what up? Real estate agents, by the way, let me just explain something real quick about the difference between MLM scammers and real estate agents. In MLM, in every example that I've ever seen, you are either required to or de facto required to make purchases from the company yourself. You join an MLM, you don't pay to join, you pay for a starter kit, which also allows you to be classified as a distributor for them. So you didn't pay to join, you paid to get a starter kit. Wink. And the person who recruited you didn't get paid to recruit you. That would be a pyramid scheme. They got a commission from making a sale of a starter kit, which was mandatory for you to buy in the first place, which in most cases is a worthless box of white labeled junk, lotions and potions, that the price that you overpaid for the starter kit is almost all profit for the actual company. So now, boom, the company has made their profit. You were the customer, but they lied to you and tell you that you're the distributor. We're selling you this wholesale. They're not selling it wholesale. You think they're not making a profit off of that? You think they're selling it to you at cost, out of the good of their heart? They're making money. That's the entire business model. Getting people to join as distributors who buy products and then every month continue to buy more products as a mandatory or de facto mandatory condition of being classified as a mandatory or de facto mandatory condition of being considered an active distributor and qualifying for bonuses, rewards, your fancy rank title, etc., and recruiting more people who also do that, chasing the impossible, mathematically impossible, endless chain pyramid scheme dream. Whereas in real estate, you don't join a real estate brokerage and then they tell you, oh, you also have to buy a house from us, and every month you have to pay for other things associated with that house. And then when you also recruit another realtor who also does the same thing, then the amount of money that you would make off of selling a house increases with each person you recruit and each person they recruit. It's just complete nonsense. Again, there are similarities between MLMs and real estate. There are similarities between MLMs and insurance brokerages, but there are similarities between a horse and a chair, and they are not the same thing. You know, a chair can have 4 legs, a horse can have 4 legs. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on a horse. A horse can be brown, white, black. A chair could be brown, white, and black. But the differences between them are more weighted than the similarities between them. And likewise, between MLM and real estate, the similarities are dwarfed by the differences. The differences far outweigh the similarities. Real estate is not an endless chain. Real estate agents are not recruiting their own competitors, cannibalizing the market and making it more difficult to do the thing that they actually want to do in real estate, which is sell houses. If your goal as a realtor was to sell houses, the last thing you would want is an exponentially multiplying market of real estate agents who are going to take properties and sell properties that you could have sold. It's completely anathema to the basic fundamental principles of supply and demand. I didn't finish university, but for the year that I went there, I took Economics 101, and I understand this. And if you even understand basic Economics 101, the principle of supply and demand, you would realize that any MLM proposition is complete nonsense. It's contradictory to real business, to real economics. And if it doesn't make sense, oh, what's the thing Judge Judy says? If it doesn't make sense, it's not true. Follow the money. This is about scamming. This is about reclassifying the language around pyramid schemes to whitewash and legitimize them in the eyes of the law and be able to wield that in court, to defeat the FTC, to sue critics and silence them. Critics, people who say the truth about what they're really doing, and ultimately protect their ill-gotten gains. Protect their own ass. I'm really on fire today, aren't I? I really am. Thanks, you.
Marco.
Benjamin says they should include real estate numbers since they claim they're the same. So true.
Thumbs up the king.
Thumbs up the thing, y'all. Oh, also, here, let me check. I don't know if my Streamlabs donations thing is still not working, but let's see if I check. Did anyone drop a bag? September 17th today? Let's see. Nope, nobody. Okay. So you all hate me. LOL. Emotionally manipulating the audience. So you all hate me. By the way, I know I have the donor goal up there for Patrick Bet-David to be Patrick Bet-David for Halloween, but I'll also say this. If we also fill up this donor goal, something very exciting that I will also purchase, the video game Super Mario Galaxy for Nintendo Wii, which is one of my favorites of all time, came out in 2007, which is, in my opinion, the best year in human history, is coming out on Nintendo Switch on October 2nd as a bundle with Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2, which I never actually played. But I always have talked to my nieces about how amazing this game is, and they have a Nintendo Switch, so I want to get it for them so they can also share in the joy of Super Mario Galaxy and play it and experience that. So that is something also, as well as being Patrick Bet-David for Halloween, I will also purchase the Super Mario Galaxy Nintendo Switch bundle for my nieces when we fill that donor goal. Also, let me update this. $4.99, $3.52, $10, $4.99, $3.52. I don't know why there's all those digits. All those extra icons there. There we go. Let's see your comments here. Alex says, these DSA people look like they hunt humans for sport. I mean, they kind of do in a way, right? They're hunting desperate, vulnerable people who are looking for an opportunity, and they present them a lie of an opportunity, which actually hijacks their brain, makes them look at all their friends and loved ones as either marks or broke haters and dream stealers who don't believe in them, and while simultaneously taking every dollar out of their pockets. It kind of is a Hunger Games sort of thing. They do attempt to say that direct selling is a part of free speech. I love that. Joseph says, I love a good backdoor loophole. So true. And Benjamin says, so haram.
That's haram.
So true. What up, Alonzo Hall? More like Lonzo Ball, am I right? Being classified as an... Yes, thank you, Hyena. What up, Hyena? Is that Clippy in your profile pic? Yep, right to repair. We love it. Dave Vaughn says, it's weird this is an education committee and not a labor committee. So true. Sam Levine did seem to underline the FTC's intention to push MLM's distributor into an employee classification with his use of the word worker when describing them at this year's MLM conference. That's good news. That's good news. Sam Levine. Here, let me pull up Sam Levine here. Samuel Levine, FTC. So funny. I look at my Google search history and it says Samuel. No, I'm not even going to say it. Okay. Samuel Levine. Here he is. Let me pull him up here. This is Samuel Levine, director of the FTC's Bureau of Consumer Protection. Is Lois Greisman still working at the FTC Department of Bureau of Consumer Protection? I sure hope she is, because she seems to have her finger on the pulse, and that would be good. I mean, it only makes sense. In my opinion, it only makes sense that people in MLMs are classified as employees, because they often end up working way more than employees. You know, they talk about, oh, you're working that 9-to-5 job. Meanwhile, they're working that 24/7 losing money scam. You know, you gotta love it. Thank you, Hyena. What up, Gridiron Gossip? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm doing an earlier one today because I gotta bounce later. There's gonna be people moving stuff here. So, Alex says real estate is fine unless it's EXP. Yeah, I gotta do some more. I'm doing some digging on EXP right now. Let's just say. Benjamin says new language indeed, as was made for vitamins. Acceptable claims were wrung out of the government by MLM lawyers. True. Gridiron says, Marco, getting my first bag from my commission at my job soon. Glad you censored that. We wouldn't want to traumatize anyone, Gridiron Gossip. So I'll be paying some well overdue goon tax. Be ready. Yeah, let's go. We've got that. Benjamin says, Nintendo won't be getting 1 cent from me anymore. Oh, yeah, I heard about this. So funny that I just was like, is that Clippy in your profile picture? Shout out Right to Repair. And then saying that I wanted to buy something from Nintendo. However, the Nintendo game that I'm looking to buy, even though they will make money off of it, is an old game, if that helps at all. Yeah, that's true. They are. I don't know too much about that, but I remember there was a whole thing about Nintendo's anti-consumer practices. As bad as I want to play Galaxy, I won't be. Shit. Every year, Congress has to hear from these bullshitters. Yeah. And I mean, what makes this thing even crazier is not just that actual verifiable scammers are in the halls of the government rubbing shoulders and lobbying politicians to do their evil bidding. It's that they do this every year. Every year. Let's go back to the how do I do this? Let's go back to X, Direct Selling Association. Going back to the DSA's Twitter. Look at this. This was September 16th. A standing ovation for Herbalife, recipient of the 2025 DSA Vision for Tomorrow Award. Through the Casa Herbalife program, they provide over 500,000 meals annually and nutrition education to children across 62 countries. I mean, guys, I take back everything I've ever said about MLM, Herbalife, Direct Selling Association. Clearly, they're doing good. Never mind the millions and millions and millions of people who have had food taken out of their mouth by Herbalife. 500,000 meals annually. Guys, that's huge. Come on. Clearly, they're not evil. Herbalife, the company that paid the biggest FTC settlement in history to avoid being labeled as an illegal pyramid scheme. You are a conspiracy theorist if you think that they are doing anything but good in this world. I mean, do you think that the Direct Selling Association, a very reputable and prestigious organization representing the direct selling channel, which has such an impact on the economy and supports micro entrepreneurs to the tune of millions, most of them women, do you really think they would give the Vision for Tomorrow Award to a company that wasn't doing good in the world, that wasn't building a better future? You are a kook, a critic, a conspiracy theorist, a muckraker, a gadfly, and a scoundrel. That's what you are, if you think that. A standing ovation. You think they would have just made that up? You think any of this is made up? Direct selling, multi-level marketing, you think those are just made up terms to cover up something else? You're wrong. You think the Vision for Tomorrow Award was just made up out of nothing? Come on. Wake up. Oh, here's another one. Cheers to Pampered Chef, winner of the 2025 DSA Product Innovation Award. Their deluxe coffee machine is a first-of-its-kind product that lets families create coffeehouse quality drinks at home, all while saving time and money. Guys, first of its kind. No, there was no Nespresso before this, okay? It just didn't exist. This is a first-of-its-kind product. Pampered Chef, we just went over on the last stream the income disclosure and the compensation plan of Pampered Chef, where once again, yes, most people lose money in Pampered Chef. And it is an endless chain. And there is a pay-to-play mandate. And there is, as far as we can tell from the income disclosure, an extreme money transfer from the last ones in to the first ones in. These are the red flags that Robert Fitzpatrick outlines in Ponzinomics as the red flags of an illegal pyramid scheme. But what do I know? I'm just a critic. I'm just a grifter, of course, who's making sensationalized content on YouTube to try to make money, as we all know. Don't listen to him. Defamation, defamation, defamation. No problem. A lot of awards being doled out. You know? Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, just look at this. Can't believe you've done this. So I'm just enjoying looking at the propaganda here. DSA Dave Grimaldi is headed to Salt Lake City to tee up for the direct selling golf tournament. Whoop, whoop. Hosted by the DSA Supplier Advisory Committee Chair. He looks forward to seeing everyone on the fairway for thank you to DSA supplier members. And if I'm not mistaken, there's one of the names on here. No, I'm thinking of where is it? Doug Emhoff. Venable. I'm thinking of Venable. I saw on the Direct Selling Association's website, they had, let's see here. Here, DSA on their website. DSA thanks these companies for making our supplier community strong in 2025. Venable LLP. This was the law firm that Kamala Harris's husband, Doug Emhoff, worked for, that during the time she was the attorney general in California and chose not to prosecute Herbalife. Venable was one of the law firms that was hired by Herbalife during this time, conveniently, and Kamala's husband, Doug Emhoff, was a lawyer at this firm. If you're a conspiracy theorist, that is. That only matters if you're a conspiracy theorist and a grifter and a defamer. Dave Grimaldi, you know. I love it. Here's Dave Grimaldi. Senegence in Tulsa, passion and energy in direct selling at its absolute best. Him with a giant, like, what is that, a cigarette? Oh, it's a Senegence. It's a lip sense. It's a lipstick or lip whatever, lip product. Here's Dave Grimaldi sitting in Economy saying, flight delays are never fun, but it gave me time to reread the court ruling that etched Neora into the annals of direct selling history as the first U.S. direct selling company to triumph over an FTC pyramid allegation in a court trial. Hard fought and well deserved. A triumph is a little bit of a stretch there because the judge ruled in that one that because the language around what a pyramid scheme actually is so vague, the FTC wasn't able to establish that Neora was a pyramid scheme, but a different reasonable fact finder could have decided in the opposite direction in favor of the FTC. So it was the most like by a hair lawsuit ever, from my understanding. But of course they, wave this around like it's just the greatest victory, Let me read you guys' comments here. Ice cream does melt. That's true. What up, Daryl? Simply Daryl. Okay, let's see. Rewriting history. Shh, Marco, stop talking about the DSA or I'll get my boys at BlackRock, right? Marco's making all this money off the demonetized videos. So true. What up, Punk Films? Micro entrepreneur means micro penis or equals micro penis, says Alexander, not me. I didn't say that. Alexander said that and I just read it. That's correct. We learn about Venable in Ponzinomics, says Benjamin. Benjamin knows. Passion, appeal to emotion, always with these frauds. If I lock my computer, will it end the stream? Did that fuck it up? That's correct. We learn about Venable. I want to see this. I don't know why I thought that. Marco, what are your thoughts on Devil Corpse? Will you be covering them at all? There's some good documentaries on YouTube about Devil Corpse. Perhaps I will, perhaps I will, but as always, I get new people recommending me to make videos about stuff, different topics, different companies every single day. And I've got a lot going on. I've got lawsuits behind the scenes. I got videos I'm working on. I got multi-level misery interviews. And I'm editing everything by myself, so. Okay, I knew this is going to be a short stream, which is good. I knew the viewership wasn't going to be crazy high for this because I'm literally doing it at the most inconvenient time on a Wednesday. Like, people are still at work or driving home or whatever, dinner time. But I just wanted to, I thought an early stream that people can rewatch is better than no stream at all. And, the schedule is going to be a bit hectic. But I did warn y'all about this on previous streams. I think the last one and the one before that scheduling might be a bit all over the place. But I'm trying to get it done for y'all so that you have the new, so that you're in the know. You're on the up and up or whatever they say. So yeah, honestly, that's really all I've got for today. But, that's all I've got to share with you today. But I really look forward to next year's direct selling day on the Hill, where we see what other types of nonsense and doublespeak and propaganda are espoused by these scammers and by these scammers led by Grovel and Grimaldi. Anyways, that's really it. God bless the USA. Don't join an MLM. Defamation. Little Marco. I love that one. Dude, I have 6 Trump sound effects on here. I've got 6 Trumps, 2 Kamalas, 1 Joe Biden, 1 Netanyahu, and 1 Hunter Biden.
Hey, Marco, don't do this.
That's the Netanyahu?
Yeah, John Smith, blah, 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 check mark.
That was Hunter, of course. Where's Joe?
Chocolate chip.
1 George Bush.
Ni hao.
Ni hao. Where's my shishi? I don't have that for some reason. 2 Kamala.
You better thank a union member.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
6 Trump.
Little Marco.
Obama.
Let's indict the motherfucker. Let's indict.
Billions and billions.
So, baby, how good was that?
Because you'd be in jail.
Such good sound effects. Stubbsy, what up? Sorry, you finally caught alive, but I'm about to leave. Punk Film's about to hit the gym tonight, so it's good to tune in. Dude, don't ask me. Somebody got to check on me tomorrow and the next day and the next day, because I did the most brutal leg day of my life this morning. I swear to God. Hopefully we live. Chocolate chip. So good. All right, that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. Keep it quick. Keep it short and sweet. Keep it simple. Am I right? Or am I right? We did it. So thank you guys. Thumbs up the ting if you're watching this on the replay. If you want to support me and you want to donate after the fact on the replay, Streamlabs link is in the description. As always, PayPal, credit card, PayPal, however you want to do it. If you want to send me an envelope of cash in the physical mail, we can work that out too. Send me an email, DM me, we'll figure it out. Actually don't, because then who knows, somebody's gonna put like white powder, like it's gonna be like Agent Orange or Anthrax or some shit in the envelope. So don't do that actually. Keep it digital, keep it clean. But yeah, I appreciate you guys, and I got a lot of work to do, so stay woke out there, not in the gay way, but I mean like stay woke in the sense of like stay alert, stay on top of. If there's something that we can do, we the people can do to combat this false narrative by the Direct Scamming Association, I will definitely keep you posted and let you know about that, so that we can actually, if there's some call to action that's meaningful that I can give you guys, I definitely will. So yeah. Anyways, appreciate y'all. Fish Tank Keeper, thank you. Great name. Peace out. Yeah, I'll be in a wheelchair from that leg day. All right. Because you'd be in jail could have been used plenty in this episode. So true. All right, well, this is like the shortest stream I've done in a long time. Exactly 1 hour. Say less. Peace.
Marco.
I took a full load.